Welcome to Courtney's Food Fix Fuel for Your Fullest Life. Today we are doing our companion video on pumpkins. If you want to learn all is stretching it. If you want to learn some of the really great tidbits of what a pumpkin can do, just check out our video from yesterday. It should be to the left, I think. All right, so let's go ahead and look at our board. It says pumpkin cake. I don't know how many of you all read the board, you lovely students. I know that you do. You guys are so good. And I don't know how many of you all are about to bust me out, but we are making pumpkin cake and not pumpkin souffle. And I know that is called false advertising, but I just want to say that when I woke up, there seemed to not be a lot of eggs, and the only other people was someone who was very tall and very handsome and very muscular. There were a couple dogs, so I'm not going to say, but nonetheless, we were short on eggs. So now we're making pumpkin cake, so let's rock and roll. I love pumpkin cake. This is actually, to me, one of the easiest recipes in the world that shows up like fire. All right, and so here we go. Just to go over our ingredients, again, back to the board. We've got our brown sugar, our oil, our eggs, vanilla, and pumpkin puree. We're going to start there, start with our wets and go to our dries. All right, so some reason, I need to wash my hand, excuse me. All right, there we go. So let's start. Love this. This is so fast. Grapeseed oil. I like to use grapeseed oil. Sometimes I use avocado oil. There's also other beautiful oils out there. I'm not a big canola oil user. In fact, I don't use it. So if you do, that's fine. I just prefer to use other oils. All right, so we got our oil. We got our brown sugar. See, all I've got is one bowl, one spatula. We're gonna mix this up. Again, want to just make sure, if you want to use a hand mixer, you can. I always forget to take it out. Also don't like to clean it, I'm a little lazy. All right, so now we got our oils and our sugar. Nice and mixed. Now we're gonna mix in our 2 eggs, 2 large eggs. Watch how fast this magic comes out. You know, the thing about this recipe, it used to, it delighted my mother. She would always ask somewhere around October, moving into November, she's like, aren't we getting close to pumpkin cake time? And so when I used to go sit with her when she was sick, I would bring her a variety of pastries. And so she loved that. That's when I was teaching, so there was already lots to use. All right, so now we've got our oil, our sugar, and our eggs. And then now we can add in vanilla. I like vanilla. We could probably about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, which is great. To me, vanilla is the best part. All right. Got that nice and mixed, and I'm moving fast. Now, all we need is our pumpkin puree, following all the way down. All right, so we talked about pumpkin puree. We talked about canned pumpkin versus fresh pumpkin yesterday. Of course, fresh pumpkin's better for you, but pumpkin, if you just buy the canned and all it has in it is just pumpkin, is still very good for you. So if you don't want to wrestle with that pumpkin, but if you still have any left over, as I was saying yesterday, many of the pumpkins would love to just get a little more love during this holiday season. They seem like they've been dropped off and left at the bad broken toy land somewhere right after, Turkey Day. All right, so now we have all of our wets. Now let's move into our dries. Now here we have our flour, 1 cup of flour. What I did is I measured out the baking soda and the baking powder. I'm gonna go ahead and add it right in. I like to sift it just to make sure that we get out all the little lumps. You see those lumps that are left? And then now that I've smushed out all the lumps, what's left now are some bigger pieces of Himalayan salt. I don't really mind those. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those in. Then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this flour a little bit of air. So I'm adding in just a little bit of air just to make sure this flour doesn't clump on me, which I don't feel like having. Then now we're gonna add in our spices. Now this is the key point. This is the point where things can go really great and really weird. So sometimes I find that there's not a lot of dedication when people use pumpkin, and I do feel like pumpkin actually to me is sort of like turkey. It's great, but then it's like it needs a little love somewhere, either a little extra spice, a little bit of extra oil, that. So here I've added in 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. If you're one of those pumpkin pie spice people, you can go ahead and mix in a mix between pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon. I'm not a big pumpkin pie person, a pumpkin pie spice person. So I just use cinnamon, and then I have fresh nutmeg, which to me is the real mother for ya. So to me, this adds a nice zip in, and probably about a half a teaspoon. All right. This smells, oh, well, one down. Listen, you guys watch this. You guys are with me. I drop something every week, don't I? Oh, it smells so beautiful. All right, so now we got our spices. We're gonna mix those into the flour as well. See how few amounts of bowls that we need to actually execute this? And then we'll add in our dries, about 2 iterations. Now, you can make this all in one cake pan, which is great. And then you can also make it into cupcakes. Today we're making it into cupcakes. And I like to use, I'll still make a cream cheese frosting, which is a throwback to my mom because she loves it. I actually don't eat too much of it because I eat too much of it. So I make it in small amounts and only add it in as like a dollop because I go too far with it. There's just something, of course, I'm sure it has to do with my dairy allergy, and then it just turns into bedlam at that point because I'm just, you look up and I got cream cheese on the tip of my nose, and my son walks by and he's like, you know, you got a little frosting over there on the corner of your mouth. So here we go. And this cake is done, which is fabulous. And then I'll show you the color, which is nice. Smells beautiful. It's fast, makes you look good. Look at that color. Yeah, baby. All right, so we've got that mixed. Then what I did here is I just brought out a couple different ingredients. You could add whatever you want, obviously. So I like to add sometimes dried cranberries, which I'll steam so that they're nice and plump, and sometimes I'll add in walnuts. So I have those here, and I'm gonna go ahead and add them, fold them in, and then I'm gonna show you my fancy cupcake liners. And the one thing, I will fill one of these because I think sometimes what happens is people will fill their cupcake liners and they will fill them too high, and then it bubbles all up, which isn't bad, I mean, at the end of the day, except for if you're trying to take them somewhere. All right, so got our pumpkin cake. We're gonna add it into our liner. You wanna add in no more than 2/3, which is near perfection. We already have our oven warmed to 350 degrees. You guys don't need to see me fill more pumpkin tins, and then watch the magic happen. So cover it. This recipe is really easy. You can do it really in 2 bowls. You can try and decide whether you want to share or not. Sometimes I don't want to. And I'll tell you, for the guy that ate the, I'm sorry, For the thing that ate the eggs, I'm not sure. Not sure if I'm gonna share. And then, look at that pumpkin. Look at that pumpkin cupcake. It's so pretty. So, there you go, Mama. It's just for you. And don't forget all about the pumpkin love. You want to love that pumpkin long time. All right, thank you so much for another episode of Courtney's Food Fix. Have a beautiful holiday season and see you next time. Much love.